You want to start, Shelley? Mike?
I vote you.
Oh, are we live? Do I actually have to start now?
Yeah, there's a little red square in the corner.
Hi, all. Welcome to the July 31st edition of Disney Parks Update Live, our weekly, except when we skip it, look at the Disney Park news. And we did skip it last week, so now it's our bi-weekly look at Disney Park news until we do it again next week. Then it's back to weekly. Quick introductions. My name is Doobie. I'm your co-host. Down there is Rebekah Mosley, my fellow co-host and also my fellow co-founder of LaughingPlace.com. Right below me is Mike Celestino. He covers the West Coast, and in this case, Disneyland Resort. And right over there is Shelley, don't know her last name, and she is filling in for us to help out with Disney World today. So we'd also always like to thank our sponsor, MouseFanTravel.com. Let's get on with the show. So, Mike, yesterday, if I recall, you were at the Disneyland Resort to finally step foot in Disneyland. Is that correct?
I got to see part of Disneyland, but I didn't get to go inside, sadly.
You did not actually step foot at Disneyland. Okay.
No.
Why don't you tell us what you were there for then?
Well, we hadn't been down to downtown Disney since the day it opened. I went on opening day 3 weeks ago yesterday, and then I just had a day free for the first time in a little while. So I went down to visit downtown Disney again, and it was a slightly different experience. When I first got there in the morning, the Simba parking lot was actually like mostly empty, which was totally different from last time because there was a long line of cars waiting to get in the first day. But yesterday morning, it was way slower, though it started to fill up during my time while I was there. I also saw, as I was walking in, I saw one gentleman had one of those like face masks that was just like a kind of little bandana scarf that went over his nose, and he got stopped by cast members, but prior to the screening checkpoints, and they told him that he didn't have a proper face mask, and they actually provided him with a blue medical mask that came in that nice little Disneyland envelope that I've gotten before when I got like media passes to the park and stuff. They always come in those envelopes, but now they're giving you a mask. Yeah,
$50 coming in too.
Yeah. And I went through screening, security, and the actual shopping area was pretty empty at first. But like I said, people were trickling in through the few hours that I was there. I went back to the Lego store. They got a nice big shipment. They got a nice shipment of the newer Lego sets. So that was a change from last time because they hadn't had any newer product last time I was there. And now they've started stocking up on the new stuff at Lego store. So that was cool. And then I saw Tortilla Joe's and Ballast Point Brewery. Both those restaurants are now open for guests to eat outdoors at the outdoor dining areas of both of those locations. And then I visited the California Soul, which is the new footwear shop at downtown Disney that replaced Sanuk, I think it was called. And that was pretty cool. I actually like this image that you have up right now. It's kind of like a shimmering mosaic.
Shimmering, shining, splendid.
Shimmering, shining, and splendid, yeah. And then outside on the sign above the entrance, there's like a rotating flip-flop, which I thought was kind of cool. There's a picture of that somewhere, yeah. So that flip-flop up there spins around.
Can you clarify something for me? Is this or is this not themed to the next Pixar film to be released?
Different soul.
Okay, I wanted to be sure. I've heard conflicting things, and we always like to get accurate information out there.
No. Wrong.
You may continue. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, when you said that, I was confused because I thought you meant the one they just announced, and I was like trying to make the connection in my head. But then I was like, oh, yes, Soul, the one that's coming out whenever movies come out again. But who knows when that will.
Yeah.
Barb said, thank you for your live feed yesterday. I like what I saw. We're going tomorrow. Tortilla Joe's reservation, 11:30. Enjoy. I love Tortilla Joe's. That's one of the few places I can eat at Disneyland Resort because they have gluten-free tortilla chips, and I get the nachos there, and I love Tortilla Joe's nachos.
Those nachos are solid.
Thank you, Gideon.
Your son is very helpful.
My son has corrected me.
But I have to admit, I was doing the same thing that Mike was. I was trying to figure out the connection to the film that was announced this week. Which the name of that is escaping me in the moment. Which is
it Luca? Luca.
Yeah.
He lives on the second floor, right upstairs from me. Does anybody get that? Come on.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm sorry.
It's somewhere in here, but I can't recall. I don't
A
know.
lovely song about child abuse, but
Okay, great. And then finally I made my way down. I also stopped in the Disney dress shop and checked out some of the newer stuff in there. People always like to see tweets and images from the Disney dress shop, so that's become like a place where I always stop, despite not really being able to wear any of the clothes in there. Occasionally, I have gotten a tie. I bought a tie once at the Disney dress shop. It's like a nice haunted mansion tie. It was like the wallpaper in the haunted mansion, so that was cool.
you did buy something, right?
Oh yeah, so this I got at Wonderground Gallery, which is another one of my favorite shops at the downtown Disney district, and it's in the the ink and paint collection. They had this Three Caballeros shirt. I really like that, and they also were selling the Funko Pops, the park exclusive Funko Pops.
I really like that ink and paint line. Like the more stuff that comes out on it, I'm like, okay, well, here's another piece of it that is just really attractive. It's just such a nice line.
I was actually going to wear that shirt for this live stream, and I totally forgot. I haven't changed my shirt since yesterday. So,
okay,
but
we'll wait.
It's quarantine, anything goes. So maybe tomorrow night for the trivia. Well, I should wear a Star Wars shirt for that, though, right?
Yeah.
We lost Rebekah.
Yeah, we did. We didn't lose our audio.
Sorry,
Okay.
Mom. I'm sorry. I forgot to mute. I hit the wrong one.
Yeah, I was about to mute you. I'm like, I don't know what she's doing right now.
No. I got the mom question. You put away my scissors. Where are they? They're in the drawer where the scissors go. It's
Barbara's right. I could probably wear one of those dresses, but you wouldn't want to see it.
Oh.
I agree.
Do a lovely little twirl.
They just came out with like a Jungle Cruise print, right? Or
yeah.
Right?
So there's a Doobie. You have that picture, don't you? I take pictures of that one.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to make you work.
Yeah, I really like that. Somebody commented on the tweet and said like they should make a button-down shirt with that same print from the Jungle Cruise dress, and I thought that would be pretty cool. But right now it's only in dress form.
Yeah, I hope so.
It's in there
Which is a shame.
It's a nice print. I could
like
totally
it.
do like a little for Dapper Days, a little
There it is.
matching
Yeah.
wardrobe going on.
I love the pockets. The pockets on it just are like the perfect just little touch on it.
Right. Now we see what happens when you have two women on the broadcast.
Yeah.
Well, if it's a dress and it has pockets, we're definitely going to talk about it.
Exactly.
That's like girl law.
Yes, it is. Totally.
That's my
Pockets
wife's. Her Universe, that company, the Ashley Eckstein company.
Yeah.
My wife always says that she would buy more of their dresses if they had pockets. So,
Yeah.
What are you
Ashley
guys
Eckstein, if you're
carrying?
listening.
What are you guys carrying? That's so important.
No, we're
Well,
not.
it's either you have your phone in your hand the whole time. Sometimes like have a little chapstick in your pocket. Little something.
Yeah.
Sorry, just showing off a couple more. Someone said they're always a fan of Mike showing the dresses. So,
Oh,
what is this one?
That's the ink and
paint.
paint one.
It's an ink and paint. See? It's
It's like going. It's like as you look from top to bottom, it's like going to Animator's Palette on the Disney Cruise.
I knew you were going to go there. I'm like, Doobie's going to anything that can bring it back to the cruise line. He's like, yeah.
Mike, if you are on the fence, I think we found your pattern.
Yeah, there's the Darth Vader one. I guess that's been around for a while, but I still thought it was cool, that display that they had.
Although, I would not get it. It has no pockets.
Anyway, I eventually made my way down to World of Disney, and I had to wait in like a 15-minute line to get in there, but it wasn't too bad. It went pretty quick. And we found the masks that everybody was asking about, the attraction-specific and land-specific masks that Disney is now selling, both here and in Florida. And I picked up the Enchanted Tiki Room mask and the Tomorrowland mask, and I really, really wanted the Haunted Mansion mask, but they only had it in the child size. And I asked like 3 cast members, and I got different responses as
I
you
love
do.
that
but,
one. That was my favorite, I think.
Yeah, the Tiki Room one is great. I actually, after I bought it, I opened it and wore it, and it's pretty fun. Yeah, there's the child size Haunted Mansion one. Sadly, they did not have the adult size in stock. And there's the Tomorrowland one.
This one's nice because it's got a little bit of retro because it has the Space Mountain vehicles, and I think it has like a people mover type vehicle on it, and
yeah,
does like a little bit of a retro Tomorrowland.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like them a lot. And then somebody asked me to ask about the 2021 attraction calendar, which either is sold out or hasn't arrived yet, depending on which cast member you ask. But I think it hasn't arrived yet.
I was going to say, from a separate source, I got the impression that it has not hit shelves yet. So that seems to make more sense to me, considering there hasn't been any kind of social media buzz with the images of it. So it'd be hard to come and go without a peep.
So I know, Mike, this is only your second visit to DT. The first time was quite busy. It was opening day. Is it a much more comfortable experience now?
It definitely was when I first got there. It was like, I would almost call it quiet, except for the background music playing. It was like serene almost. But by the time I left, which would have been around like 1 or 1:30, it was starting to get kind of bustling. And I'm sure, I asked about the virtual queue that they were doing for World of Disney, and they said they're only doing that in the later part of the day now. So I'm thinking as the day goes on, it does start to fill up quite a bit still.
When you jumped into the queue for World of Disney, did you perceive it to be about a 15-minute wait, or were you surprised? I'm just from if I'm walking through downtown Disney, will that line intimidate me that ended up being only 15 minutes? Or
it did intimidate me a little bit because it went all the way down the length of the building of World of Disney and then jumped across the path to the tram loading area.
Wow.
But
okay.
At the same time, it's socially distanced,
Mm-hmm.
it's physically distanced. So there's 6 feet between every group of people. So that artificially extends the line. And then I didn't realize how fast it was moving either. So it was going pretty quick.
Okay.
They were cycling us through pretty quick. So yeah, I got in over there by that fountain that shoots up in the air by the tram loading area.
Uh-huh.
That's where I got in line, and it was 15 minutes. So
Okay. Good to know.
And then Mike, go ahead. Sorry.
Lastly, I went over and I just kind of walked through. I actually find that the Esplanade, this is actually something I was going to bring up. The Esplanade is really pleasant to hang out in right now because there's nobody there. Like when I was in the Esplanade yesterday, there were, I think, 3 other guests wandering around and then like 1 cast member hanging out by each park entrance. So it's cool to just hang out in there. It's not shaded or anything, but if you go by the like ticket booths and stuff, you can find some shade and just hang out over there. But I was thinking they should take that space and just fill it up with like picnic tables or just umbrella tables, and have that be an eating area. Why not? People would love to sit there between the 2 parks and just hang out in that kind of atmosphere. Yeah, I just took these photos of as far as you can go. This is roped off. And then when I went over to DCA, they told me to stay on the red part of the brick area. You can't go up to the actual gates anymore, which I did last time. I went right up and took a picture of the inside of the park. This is as close as I could get on the red bricks.
How's it feel to just stand here? I mean, how's it feel?
It's weird. It's weird to not be able to go inside. I'll say that. For somebody who's gone to the parks like roughly once a week on average for the past 5 years or so, it's really weird to go there and not go through those gates.
Get a little misty-eyed?
Yeah, I'm gonna be really emotional when I go back in there, but I hope it's under, improved circumstances, I guess.
Yeah.
And speaking of, you mentioned that it might be a good idea to put some tables out in the Esplanade. They're actually going to be keeping Downtown Disney open 3 one more hour than originally on the weekends, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's going to be open until 9 now. Is that correct, Mike?
That's what I heard. Yeah, I haven't been there at night since it reopened, but I would like to.
I think a good combo would be to do that, maybe put some table in the Esplanade and shoot off some fireworks from the park at night. I think people would really enjoy that.
Doobie blue skying out here.
Now, if they started building attractions in downtown Disney, would it qualify as a theme park, or they could still keep it open as an outdoor mall kind of thing?
I think it's okay.
Okay.
I don't know. Knott's has their portion open for their event, but none of the attractions. But it's
right.
But it's so neat because it's like inside. The Knott's experience is actually inside the park, but it's just like the way the park is designed. It's kind of off from their actual attractions, so it's not as strange as it would be. I mean, if they had Main Street open but nothing else, that would feel more random to me. I don't know why, because it's about the same thing, but for some reason it's
yeah, that would feel odd.
And then one other bit of Disney, not so happy Disneyland news: the Oogie Boogie Bash Halloween time has officially been canceled for this year. No surprise. None of these were ever a surprise, but it's still sad every time another one goes down. So that is official. And Disney World's Not So Scary has already been canceled. Universal's Halloween Horror has been canceled. Has Not Scary Farm been canceled yet, Mike?
I don't think officially they have canceled that yet, but
okay.
I'm sure that's any day or week now.
They should hang coronavirus, even though I know they don't do hangings anymore. But if they did, hang coronavirus. Get rid of this thing. All right, we've got a little more Disneyland we might get to later, but I think it's time to jump on an aeroplane, put a seat between us, get over to Disney World. Shelley, welcome to the program.
Why, hello.
Thank you so much for filling in today. I shouldn't even call you a fill-in. You've been here before. You're now a regular member of the rotating staff, and we're thrilled to have you.
Staff through. But yeah, no, I love it. It's so funny that you talk about fireworks because I live in Celebration, so I'm near the parks, and that's the weirdest part of this whole thing is that there aren't fireworks at night. Like, you're used to doing your thing and you're like, oh, fireworks, I better wrap up what I'm doing. It's getting kind of late, or you got to get your kid ready for bed. Now it's just I don't even know what time it is at night in a weird way.
My son did not appreciate my sense of humor, apparently. Just want to put that.
That's true.
He never does. All right, so let's see. There's a lot going on at Disney World as I look at my syllabus over here. They announced that the Polynesian and Art of Animation would not be reopening on August 12th as originally expected. Instead, they've been pushed back until fall.
Yep.
And the Beach Club and Boardwalk had dates to open, but now they are to be determined. But on the plus side, the Caribbean Beach did reopen on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Have you been able to get there yet, Shelley?
I haven't. That is on my weekend plans this week, but I did see that Laughing Place had a lovely walkthrough that had tons of photos from the resort.
Yeah,
we did.
We had a fun time. First, we harassed Tony as he wandered around live on video, and then once he was free of our harassment, then he wandered himself with photos. Am I really stuttering bad? Because my video is, but I can't tell.
It's not bad.
Okay.
It's there, but it's not bad.
Okay. So that was a lot of fun. Caribbean Beach is among my favorite resorts to wander because it's so spacious and it has that gorgeous lake that tends to be very still and reflects the Florida sky so beautifully with the white sand. And so it was just really relaxing. And then, so Doobie, are you still with us? I'm sorry.
I'm with you. No, I'm realizing I did not pick any pictures of Caribbean Beach for some stupid reason, so I was quickly trying to find one.
No, but you're right. Caribbean Beach is a fantastic resort because it's got something for everyone. You've got the pool, you've got the nice places where you can wander and have quiet moments because it is so spread out. And it's one of those resorts where you have all sorts of different guests as well. You've got the convention guests, you've got the DVC guests and things going on over at the Grand Destino. You've got your just regular guests, you've got families. It's a great resort because it's so. I love sitting on that walkway.
And most importantly, you left off the most important thing it has.
The Skyliner.
Yes, it has a Skyliner.
Yeah.
I didn't know you liked the Skyliner. Is that a
I'm
thing?
Yeah, I'm actually a big fan of the Skyliner. I try to keep it low. Skyliner, Hamilton. I try to keep my love on the DL. Yeah,
Yes.
but,
And then-
yeah, I'm
and
a big
then
fan of the Skyliner.
And then they've done that redesign with the lobby. Is that more than a year old now? And to me, is still brand new.
Isn't the quarantine more than a year old now?
Not a year old, because it used to be
Feels like
you would come and there was that little building when you would first enter, and that's where your lobby was. And then you had all the little resort areas. After you had an area of buildings that was Aruba and an area of buildings that was Jamaica. But then you had your old Port Royale, right? That was the name of it.
Yep.
And that's
Yes,
where you would
it
go.
still is Old Port Royale.
And is that what its name is? But now it's like a hub of activity. So it's where you check in. Well, if you check in, it's where the lobby is, and also your food court and your.
I was determined to get a picture. Sorry.
I love it.
There it is.
Yep, that's one of my favorite things. It is.
Yeah.
And now they have an eatery out there, which we haven't had a chance to try yet. Sebastian's what?
Right.
Sebastian
Grill, I believe.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Grill, maybe.
Wait,
think
now
it's
I have a
Grill.
question. You told me
Okay.
to pipe in every once in a while, Doobie.
Oh, sorry, Sebastian's Bistro. Bistro.
There it is.
So Sebastian's Bistro is I'm guessing it's named after Sebastian the crab, right? Now do they
Correct.
Named
serve
after Sebastian
serve
Coe.
crab at Sebastian's Bistro?
That is an excellent question.
Les
That would be a
Poissons.
sacrilege.
They have it's one of those places where periodically Chef Louis goes running through the restaurant. They have this little crab that goes crawling through. They come back here.
Shelley, I don't know if this is a genuine question or a challenge, but do you want to take this?
Yeah, so Caribbean Beach, right? Coronado Springs is where the convention guests are, not Caribbean Beach. I was getting them mixed up in my brain. So there aren't convention crowds so much at Caribbean Beach. It is over at Coronado. So that's where Grand Destino is. I got my grade.
But
all-
it's such a huge place, the Caribbean Beach, that it does
Yes.
attract all kinds. And they're in the process of building a tower there too. So, I expect you're going to run into some convention guests there too. But yes, it's not a convention resort the way Coronado is.
No.
But it's now quite close to the Riviera Resort,
Riviera Resort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and so you're gonna experience some crossover with that, I'm sure.
And to me, the Caribbean Beach has always been the slums of the moderates. I would have taken Port Orleans. I would have even taken Pop Century over Caribbean Beach. But with the redo of the pool, which is a few years old now, but it's still really nice. And then the way they've completely redone the market, and then the way they added this newfangled transportation system called the Skyliner. That's now a destination. I think if I had to pick a moderate to stay at now, it would be the Caribbean Beach without a doubt. And then I could just ride the Skyliner all day while all my family went to the parks. And I would be perfectly happy with that.
Well, it is one of those kind of love it or hate it, isn't it? Because I feel like people kind of fall into either camp. Either they have a fondness and like almost a nostalgia for Caribbean Beach because it's where their family's been, it's where they've gone, it's very comfortable, or no, it's like if I have to stay at Caribbean, if that's the only choice left when I'm booking my Disney World vacation, that's where because I remember when my first trip, I was booked there and I got a lot of the, oh, I'm sorry.
Totally. You know what? We have to be honest. When
Not
we
you.
stayed there. Go ahead.
I feel like there's a lot of strong opinions about moderates. Moderates to me are the ones where everybody has like a really, really strong opinion. Like I love Port Orleans French Quarter because it's nice and quaint. I love the big like lawns and everything. But then there are people that swear by Riverside, and you're just like, okay, it's a very polarizing conversation.
Oh, interesting. I know see Jimmy shaking his head over here.
Because the people who have the wrong opinion are just wrong. We don't have to validate them.
Wait, but do you remember staying at the Caribbean Beach?
I remember our first time staying at the Caribbean Beach, and it was I'm so sorry. It was. It wasn't Motel 6, but by Disney, it is that particular experience. I've been there since. It's much better. That particular experience was easily the slummiest Disney World hotel experience that I've had.
was most disappointing. Okay.
And I've stayed at all the All-Stars and Pop Century. I've even had to stay at Grand Floridian once, and I mean, talking about slumming it. But
Slumming it. Slumming it.
Mike, time out for Mike.
Okay.
Mike, what's your favorite Disney World resort?
Do I have to have stayed there?
No.
Okay, so I always like going to the Animal Kingdom Lodge to check it out. I've never stayed there, but it looks really cool. I like the lobby quite a bit, and I like the areas outside where you can go and see the giraffes and stuff. But of the ones I've stayed at, I got to stay at the Grand Floridian, and that was pretty nice.
It is.
I think we only have one we haven't stayed at, right, Doobie? We only have one left. Well, except for they've added these new things.
Right. Yeah.
I haven't stayed at the Polynesian, but I also really like hanging out there, and I like Trader Sam's. And what's the bar where you get the pineapple?
Outside of Ohana.
Yeah, the bar upstairs is what we call it.
Yeah.
I forget.
You said the bar outside of Ohana is what you call it?
Yeah. The bar upstairs.
Yeah.
No, not that one, because there's two up there now.
Lapu, is that something?
Lapu is the drink.
That's the drink. That's the drink.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking too. So something like that.
My son,
by the way, that's the one that's left on our list. Is the Polynesian.
The Polynesian.
Yeah, except for the new builds. We haven't been to the Grand Destino or the Riviera, but we've stayed at all the others by this point now. So
I would like to take a personal moment to ask my son to stop correcting me live on the air. Barb cried with happiness the most at Animal Kingdom Lodge. Giraffes outside my window. Yeah.
I feel like that's the one time I get up early. Is like early is when I stay at Animal Kingdom Lodge, because it's so lovely, especially if you've got those savannah views. You just go outside and just watch all the animals like get their food and get their day started, and
showered, put their clothes on. I remember Rebekah.
Coffee.
Rebekah, I think you tell this story, or maybe I just tell it myself and attribute it to you. All right, you can tell it.
No, go ahead.
Of just sitting in the room, sitting on the balcony, and it being so quiet and peaceful, and you can literally hear the animals eating, and their prey wailing, and it's just such a beautiful moment.
I didn't say that. You added
their prey wailing.
I can remember. I have a vivid memory of sitting on the balcony and just listening to the zebra pulling on the ground, and you could hear it chomp and then chew, chomp. I mean, you can hear it. I thought it was so
cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's one of those nifty things, though, because the same year we stayed at Animal Kingdom Lodge, and we ended up spending more time visiting Animal Kingdom because of that. Some friends of ours were taking a trip to Africa, like actual savannah, actual safari trip and whatever. And it was funny because when they came back, they were showing us their pictures, and then we were showing them our pictures. And
that's funny.
And in some moments, it was hard to discern. It's like they would show us a village or a place they had driven through and be like, oh, well, we went to Harambe. We would show them. It was really fun to kind of have that reality check, and yet also see the depth of commitment to authenticity that is there.
We've been told by people that have done it that the Kilimanjaro Safari is very much like a real safari, just without the long periods of nothing in between.
Right. It's like a condensed version.
It's like the abridged, like the Cliff Notes version.
Yeah, which, we all got through school that way, so there's nothing wrong with that, right? So also at the Walt Disney World Resort, as you can see from the beautiful Skyliner, Remy's Ratatouille Adventure is getting closer to opening. So there it is. It's on the map. Nice cropping, Doobie. I can't see what number it is, but it is on the map now. And you can see it on the map there. And then from the beautiful Skyliner, from the Riviera to Epcot, you get some beautiful views. So as I show a couple of these pictures, how about our Disney World correspondent just wax poetic about Remy's Ratatouille Adventure?
So I know that I always think that, oh gosh, in an alternative universe, like we would be getting, we would be on it. We would be making these plans. I would be eating my crepe at the creperie, but it's one of those things where it's like, it's just right there because they've got this beautiful archway over in the France Pavilion that you're going to one day walk through to get to that back section of the pavilion where the ride entrance is going to be. And it's really great to see that they've kind of picked up where they left off. We got to walk some of that track earlier in the year, late last year, and get an idea of where they were going with the attraction. And I know that everyone's really, really excited for it to finally be completed. And I know I can't wait to take a spin on a mouse.
Mike.
Yeah, I'm gonna be a bummer here. So Ratatouille is my favorite Pixar movie, probably, I think. And I got to go to Disneyland Paris last year for the first time, and I went on the Ratatouille attraction there at the Walt Disney Studios park, and I thought it was kind of underwhelming. I don't know. I didn't like it that much.
Yeah?
I hope that they change it in some way to make it more interesting, but it's really just a lot of sitting in front of a screen. And
I know that they keep saying that it's inspired by the ride in Disneyland Paris, so I'm not quite. We're all trying to figure out what the inspired by, what the little tweaks are that they're going to make. We got to walk through some of the section of the back of house of the restaurant, as well as to look at the load and unload areas. And it is really pretty. I know that that's one of my concerns, is that there are a lot of screens. Not like the biggest fan of screen rides, but I'm excited to at least try something new and hope that more attractions come to the World Showcase, because I think that would be delightful. And
I liked the area. I really liked that part of that park, and I liked the queue for Ratatouille where you're like kind of walking through the rooftops of Paris. That was really neat. And you see like the Gusto's restaurant sign and stuff. But once I got on the ride, I was like, oh, that was it. That's the big deal. I don't know.
Mike,
we'll see.
Can you think of a current existing attraction that you would most compare it to as far as your experience and interest level?
Rise of the Resistance?
Stop. I mean, is it that it just was total screen, or I'm just curious.
Okay. Yes, I have a good comparison.
Okay.
It reminded me a little bit of Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, because it does have physical scenes that you go through in between the screens. But then once it's less interesting to me than Forbidden Journey, because Forbidden Journey, you're on this like arm that moves around a bunch. Yeah. But in the Ratatouille attraction, you're in a car, you're in a ride vehicle. And once you get parked in front of the screen, I'm not even sure the car is moving at all. You're just watching the POV on the screen in front of you. And that's the parts that I found the least interesting. And it takes up the most time in the ride. But then there are parts where you're going through like the food storage area. And that's a big physical set with all the food around you. And those parts are pretty cool. So intermittently, I thought it was interesting, but
I know our son hasn't ridden it, but he's seen the video a lot, and I'm pretty sure he's a pretty big fan of it. So I'm going to go with Gideon on this one and declare Mike wrong. Go ahead, Rebekah.
You know, as Mike talks about it, I'm having flashbacks to Antarctica.
That's exactly what I was thinking the whole time, like with your but I do have to say that the Imagineers did say on our tour that the car itself would kind of move back and forth and pivot around. So maybe that'll be some sort of a plus.
I feel like you can see that even on the Paris ride video. Maybe I'm wrong, but the car definitely, and Gideon, if he'll hear this and type something, that car
he won't.
Definitely is a part of it from seeing videos. And by the way, Disney just released kind of a ride through Imagineering thing for it recently. You can find that in LP, or go directly to their Disney Parks YouTube page and check it out and get a little more excited for Mi's Ratatouille adventure, despite Bummer Mike coming in here and
sorry,
tossing water over our whole thing.
Come on, man.
Well, what's Antarctica?
It's what SeaWorld Florida built to it's the way that you now encounter their penguins. First, you go on this attraction that's trackless, and they have either a thrill side or a mild side, and you follow this journey of this penguin And it's what you're describing. You kind of move through this area, and then you sit in front of a screen, and then you move, and you sit in front of a screen. And you follow the journey of the penguin, and then when you disembark your ride vehicle, you're in the frozen universe of the penguin, and that's where you exit, and that's when you encounter the penguins, and you can see the actual penguins.
But the ride itself, especially going opening weekend and waiting 2 hours for it, it's just bad. It's just bad.
It doesn't have it's not. I don't think it's well paced.
It's not.
And I think that's what it struggles with. And then I think also sometimes when you're at a theme park surrounded by real life, to then kind of be thrust into a computer animated type universe doesn't always work as well.
I feel though that we are quickly glossing over a very stunning statement Mike made there, and that's that Ratatouille is his favorite Pixar film.
I know.
Yeah, and we watched it again on the cruise this year because we did the Star Wars Day at Sea, and they had a day where they were showing most of the Pixar movies at the pool, and Ratatouille was playing as we walked by, and it was like halfway through the movie, and I just like stopped. I was like, hang on, I want to watch this part, and we ended up watching the entire rest of the film. And I was literally crying by the end of that movie when Anton Ego, the food critic, gives you like hear his review of the meal at the end. That part nails me every time. It really gets me. I love it. I love that movie.
There's a big irony there, Mike. You can't eat a thing Remy makes.
Well, okay. So I have this thing where I believe that all movies about food are secretly about movies. This is a theory that I've had since I was in film school and I saw the movie Big Night. But the movie Chef, Jon Favreau's movie Chef, is about being a filmmaker, really. And I think Ratatouille is also about movies, but it's a metaphor.
Okay, now I have to watch it again with Mike's theory of food and film in mind.
Yeah. Definitely.
I may force myself to watch my least favorite Pixar film just to have that theory in mind.
That would be fun.
You should also see Chef, which is
I want to see Chef. I do.
And you should watch the movie
good.
Big Night, which is the movie that inspired me to have that theory.
That is so cool. But this is another topic that the crew should get together and lock ourselves in a room and have fun and
what? Ranking Pixar?
Yeah. Ranking Pixar.
Since we're here, Shelley, what's your favorite Pixar movie?
Oh gosh, Wall-E.
Man, you guys have bad taste. Rebekah?
I don't know. What do you think my favorite Pixar is? I don't know. I can't think. Maybe Inside Out.
Really?
Maybe.
Okay. I don't know what yours is.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah. Well, mostly because I'm one of those Disney fans who's not a fan of Pixar films typically. So, yeah. Because I like dancing, and they don't do that.
I'm thinking for me, either
my animated feature.
I like it too. I'm thinking for me either Cars 2 or Good Dinosaur, one of those two. But I can't decide. No, actually, Toy Story 2. Probably Toy Story 2. I like fun in my movies, you serious people.
I love Toy Story 2. I don't have any problem with that.
We weren't going to go see Toy Story 2, but
I know.
Wasn't it West Coaster founder?
Yeah.
West Coaster founder James, who he saw us at Downtown Disney. Hey, you guys need to go see Toy Story 2. Let's go. So we went to see Toy Story 2.
I still think I may have laughed more in Toy Story 2 than any movie I've seen before since. It was just fabulous. Even more than Airplane, which is hard to believe. So,
surely you must be kidding.
Speaking of which, ABC's Goldbergs, their season premiere is going to be an Airplane homage, whatever. So definitely looking forward to that. Definitely going to have a couple Folgers, maybe a second one. We'll see how it goes.
I have never seen an episode of the Goldbergs, despite having a friend who works on the show.
Mike, it is really, really good. How can you do that to yourself? And it's about a filmmaker.
I was going to say it feels like you would relate to it. Like,
And
there's
isn't
so
it
much pop
isn't
culture.
it narrated by Patton Oswalt? Speaking of
Yeah.
Ratatouille, and I
Although-
love Patton Oswalt, big fan of Patton Oswalt. So you think I would like this show?
Yeah.
Although since it's about an aspiring filmmaker, it's actually about food, and that may be why you
That-
don't like
that's-
them.
Could be.
No. Also on the East Coast, there's not much to do but just look because it's so cute.
Aw.
Baby Yoda balloon.
Baby Yoda balloon has arrived, and then People Mover. Do you know the People Mover story, Shelley?
That it is not listed on MD, my Disney Experience. It's not there. So,
And it was originally announced as being one of the attractions that would reopen with the parks,
right.
but it wasn't open.
No.
It never did open, and now it's no longer listed.
No,
So-
it makes me very nervous.
I remember in 1995 when the People Mover was happily going around Disney World, Disneyland, Tomorrowland every day, and then one day it had an accident, a ride stop like it did, and pretty much every other day people got walked off, no big deal, and it just never came back, and that was that.
There's
So, I
nothing
doubt
like
that's what's happening
spin on
here.
the People Mover in the evening. Like the People Mover is just like the best like chill spot. Like you just hop on and usually there's nobody there and you pull into the station and you give them this sign, they go, yeah, and you're just like, best day ever. And you go around again.
Watch the
No.
fireworks from there. Go ahead, Rebecca.
No. Am I making it up that the last time we wrote it that we had to share the ramp with people like up and down were using the same ramp?
I believe you are correct.
Yeah,
So
I
we
feel
had to
like-
wait.
I feel like
Yeah.
Shortly before we went, there was some sort of smoke issue that ended up shutting down the attraction. And then when we got there, the one speed ramp wasn't operating and blocked off, and the other speed ramp was being used as up and down.
At the
Like,
same time,
Yeah.
while it was going up.
So that it wasn't actually on, but you were walking, and it's not the widest thing.
No, it's not.
I remember being a little bit awkward, and I was like, "Am I making this up? Because it seems ridiculous." But you remember too, right?
Yeah, but I think we would like hold at the top and hold at the bottom. I can't remember passing people on the ramp.
Okay. Well, no, maybe it was like one of those things where they didn't intend it, but maybe like at the very end or something is like you ended up near each other. But yeah, okay.
I forgot to ask Mike a question.
I wasn't mixing up some sort of social distance marking that I'd seen and created a whole scenario in my head. But yeah, okay.
I forgot to ask. Oh, whoa! See, this is where we have people who have memories in our family.
Well, see, yeah, Gideon remembers. Okay, thank you.
Mike, I forgot to ask you a very important question regarding Remy's Ratatouille Adventure in Disneyland Studios Paris. Top Corner Churro, that or Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Revenge or whatever it's called.
Run.
Smuggler's Run.
Smuggler's Run between those two. Yeah.
Wow, you really don't like it. Oh, this is why I can't remember. I was not there.
Well,
Oh,
I'll
okay.
say that I went back. I've been to Disneyland Paris twice now. I went both for Halloween and Christmas last year. And the second time I went, I didn't even bother doing Ratatouille.
It's his favorite Pixar film, but he was darken the attraction.
That tells me a lot.
All of a sudden, I'm not quite looking forward to it as much. Thanks, Mike.
Sorry. Hopefully they improve the Walt Disney World version.
This is where you need like a stock market ticker for interest in an attraction. All of a sudden, everybody.
And yet I did their Big Thunder Mountain over and over again, their Pirates over and over again, and their Phantom Manor over and over again, because those were amazing. And Space Mountain is really great there too. But they had like a lame Star Wars overlay on it.
Oh no! Poor Mike.
Hey guys, I need to attend to something. Unfortunately, you guys, please continue. Rebecca, if you have the syllabus, I wanted to give Mike a chance to talk about the Galaxy's Edge guy he talked to, kind of give some insight into Galaxy's Edge, and then just a mention of the Nintendo thing. But you have the thing.
Yeah.
I'll be back if I can.
Oh, Mike, are you saying that you have that there that you want to talk about? Please go ahead. interviewed an author recently, so
Yeah.
I'll just toss it over to you while I go quickly grab a piece of paper.
Well, it's been a few weeks now, but I talked to the author of this book. It's called Traveler's Guide to Batuu, and it's a in-universe guide to Black Spire Outpost and the planet Batuu, which is the planet you visit when you go to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. And it's written as though you're going on vacation in the Star Wars universe. You know, they don't talk about Disney parks, or it's hard to see on the camera here, but there's no mention of Disney parks or being a tourist in the real world. It's just all in-universe stuff, which is really fun. But they go through all the locations and shops and dining and the cantina, and they hint at the attractions, although obviously the attractions aren't referenced as attractions. They're just, oh, there's the spaceport, and then there's the caves you can go to and stuff. So it's a really fun book. But I got to interview the author, Cole Horton, who's a really, really nice guy. And I talked to him for like 35 minutes. It's a really fun, in-depth interview, and you can watch the whole thing on the Laughing Place YouTube channel, or if you want to tune into my podcast, Who's the Boss, the Star Wars podcast from laughingplace.com.
Who are some other people you've recently talked to with your Who's the Boss?
Yeah, I just had on author Sarah Kuhn, who wrote the Dr. Aphra audiobook that just came out. She was fantastic. Interview subject. She had a lot to say about her writing career and stuff. We've had on Ricky Briganti, my former boss, and the host of the Inside the Magic podcast for so many years. You guys might know him. Voiceover actor James Arnold Taylor from Star Wars The Clone Wars was a guest. He was fantastic. But yeah, we're up to episode 24 will be next week. So there's and Rebekah Mosley has been on the show.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to talk Star Wars with you. I had a good time. It was one of the last social things that you were like one of the last people I had social fun with before.
That's right. And that day, the day I did your episode, we did your interview. Yeah. I went over to Disney California Adventure for the Pixar Night Disneyland After Dark event, and that was the last time I stepped foot in a Disney park that night. That day we recorded that interview. And also Doobie and Gideon have been on the show to talk about Disney Trivia Live. So
lots of fun.
Check it out.
You're keeping yourself really busy, even though you don't have theme parks to be covering now. So
I've been to City Walk a couple times. I've been to Downtown Disney now a couple times, and I've been to Knott's Berry Farm once for the Taste of Ghost Town event. But other than that, it's just been working from home. And we did have a really busy couple weeks with the Disneyland 65th birthday thing that we did. And then Comic-Con at home was a busy week too.
That was a really big week.
Well, the only thing I see that is listed on Mr. Doobie's, hey, talk about this stuff, is the Nintendo news. Are you guys familiar with that, or should I just kind of read what Laughing Place wrote up about it? Because it says Universal Orlando has paused development of their new theme park, Epic Universe, and has announced another round of layoffs following an investor's call where Comcast revealed the parks have lost 94% of revenue.
Yes. Yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting world down here for a little bit. As far as new development goes, I don't think it was a huge shock that they did pause development. It had been kind of touch and go for a while, and the news of layoffs earlier had spread like wildfire, and I think we all kind of knew there would be more coming. I think the biggest thing is just kind of wondering how it's all gonna play out for the rest of the year, especially with Halloween Horror Nights being canceled, which is a giant revenue maker for the parks. And especially this being such a huge anniversary year for that event. I know there were a lot of people that were coming down and planning a whole bunch of special events around that. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting down here, especially because so much of our economy does rely on these theme parks. So,
yeah, we've been having similar discussions on this coast with the realities of Comic-Con, because there's so many stores and restaurants that generate a vast majority of their annual income based upon the tourism that is brought in by the Comic-Con events. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how these kinds of seasonal or kind of tentpole events in these communities, what kind of impact long term it's going to end up having. But as far as Epic Universe goes, Mike, you were pretty excited about that parks announcement, right?
Yeah, I was really bummed when I heard this news because I thought the concept art that I saw for Epic Universe looked so cool. I was really excited for Super Nintendo Land or whatever they were calling it, but I was more excited for the Universal Monsters area. Like that had the potential to be probably maybe one of my favorite theme park lands. And I really hope, really, really hope that all this stuff bounces back after the pandemic is over, because I would love to get to visit that park after it gets hopefully built. So I hope it happens eventually. Yeah. And I'm looking forward to the conventions coming back and everything like that too. I think I'm just so ready for 2021 to be a much better year than 2020. Absolutely. So let's keep our fingers crossed that happens.
Totally. Wear your mask, wash your hands.
No, 100%. Well, I think we've pretty much covered what's going on at the parks. We visited downtown Disney at Disneyland Resort this week. We went to the Caribbean Beach Resort, which reopened at Walt Disney World. There's a few more possibly opening in the weeks ahead, but dates are changing. I know that they've delayed a couple of them that they had been talking about. We've also seen some further cancellations, but ultimately it looks like it's kind of still just slowly moving along. I'm seeing more and more. My family lives in Central Florida, so like today they're at SeaWorld, so I'm getting to experience some of the adaptations and changes. Like Disney had the face mask where initially you could wear the neck gaiter thing, but now they want it to be an ear hook and tightly on the face. So I think we're adapting and learning, and it'll be interesting to see how our experiences as theme park guests continues to grow and change with the evolving understanding of the pandemic. So yeah, hopefully we'll be able to get closer and closer to normal, I guess, is what ultimately I'm thinking. But I do not have in front of me a list of what else is happening on Laughing Place. You don't happen to, do you, Mike? If not,
I definitely want to plug tomorrow evening. We're doing Disney Trivia Live, as Doobie and Gideon and you, Rebekah, do every Tuesday and Saturday evening. But tomorrow night is special for me because I get to kind of guest co-host for one of the quizzes for the first time. I've written a bunch. I've written like 8 or 9 of them now, but this will be my first time actually being on camera for a full quiz. And I wrote a quiz about Star Wars in Disney parks that has a couple of Galaxy's Edge questions, but it's spanning the whole history of Star Wars and Disney parks, going way back to the 80s.
Well, that'll be great. So you'll be there with Doobie and Gideon tomorrow at 7:30. And I know Shelley's been helping out here and there, so I'm sure we'll see you again sometime soon.
But I hope so. It's fun.
Yeah. Thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Okay, and I guess for now we'll just sign off. So this is the Disney Parks live team saying, see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.